Today, I'm going to show you how to create sunlight through clouds in Photoshop. Hey guys, and welcome to Phlearn. My name is Aaron Nace, and you can find me on Phlearn.com, where we make learning Photoshop and photography fun. And in today's episode, I'm going to show you an awesome, simple technique you can use to create light rays through clouds in Photoshop. We're going to start off today's episode by showing you how to analyze a photo to find out the best place you could actually make the source of your sun rays. Then we're going to be using the simple brush tool and the radial filter to create these light rays. It's simple and fun to do. All right, guys, let's go ahead and jump into Photoshop. So here's our image for today. This is the perfect image for creating something like light rays because we do have clouds in the sky, but we also have a light source. You can see the sun is behind the light source. This is really important when you want to do this type of effect because we're going to be creating sunlight through these clouds, and if there's no sun visible in the image, it doesn't make any sense at all. So before you do this to a photo, make sure that you can actually see like, okay, cool, there's a light source in this image. It'll make a lot more sense. Okay, so we're going to start off by duplicating our background layer. We're going to hit Control or Command J to duplicate our layer. Then I'm going to right click and go to Convert to Smart Object. All right, now this layer is a smart object, and what that allows me to do is use a smart filter. Now here's why smart filters are cool, because you can actually change a smart filter very easily. All you have to do, I'll show you right here. We're going to go to Filter, we're going to go down to Blur, and we're going to go down to Radial Blur. Okay, now a Radial Blur, here's the actual key to creating these light rays. You got a couple options here. We've got a spin option and a zoom option. We want to click on zoom. Now our amount we want to bring way up, somewhere right about 90%. Looks pretty good. Now in this case, I'm just going to hit OK. All right, and we've got a big blur going on our image. Now obviously this isn't where we want the source of our light rays to be coming from. I want it to actually come up from this area over here. Now remember earlier we created this as a smart object? Well, that allows us to use smart filters. So a smart filter we can go back and edit after the fact. Like I've applied the smart filter, but now if I want to change it, all I have to do, this is real cool, all I have to do is double click right here where it says Radial Blur, and I can change this. So I'm going to change the blur center. We're just going to go right up there, hit OK again, and now we're going to change it to right about where we want the sky. I'm going to turn this layer off and on and decide, you know what, I want it to come the blur right from about there. That's where I want the source of my sun rays to be. So let's double click on a radial blur there, and we're just going to bring this up just a little bit. Let's hit OK there. All right, and my goal is to make this the exact source, there we go, where we want the center of our light rays to be. All right, and that looks perfect. It's right there on the actual light source. So we've got our light source, and we've got the blur center right there. Now, this is super handy because we can just repeat this filter over and over again. So we're actually done with the background layer. We don't need this anymore. All we did from here was to figure out where we want the center of our blur to be. So now what we're going to do is we're actually going to start painting those light rays and applying that blur. All right, guys, I know that was a little bit complicated, but everything moving forward is really simple. So now what we're going to do, we already have the center of our light rays. We're just going to make this layer invisible. Okay, we're going to create a new layer on top of that, and I'm going to hit B for my brush tool, and now what we want to do is create our little light rays. So we're basically going to sample our highlight color, and in this case it's going to be white. Now if you're working with a sky that has a beautiful orange sunset, you might want to sample that orange color, but in this case it's going to be white. Whatever it is, it's going to be the color of the sunlight in your image. Okay, so here we have white, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my brush tool, and I'm just going to paint right around my image, kind of focusing on the highlight areas around my photograph. All right, there we go. We'll just kind of paint a couple dots on here, and we're good to go. Now we're going to go to Filter, and then down here, instead of going to Blur and all the way over to Radial Blur and then doing the same thing over again, we're just going to use the Radial Blur right here. Now, anything that shows up on the top of your filter menu, this is basically going to redo the last filter you did. So remember, we found the exact blur center we wanted with this layer. So now on this layer, all I have to do is go to Filter and down here to Radial Blur, or hit Command F. That's the real secret here. So I'm not going to go there. I'm going to hit Command F, and it's going to apply the same exact blur that we used on this photo, okay, with the same center and the same amount. So now all I have to do is use my brush tool, and I'm just going to paint some circles around here and hit Command F. It's going to apply that blur. So we can really just kind of like fine tune our light rays. If I paint some over here, we want more light rays over here, cool. I'll just paint more white over there and then hit Command F, and it's going to blur it out for us. And all of a sudden, these little spots basically just get blurred out to where they look like light rays, which is really, really cool. Now, if you want to start over, really easy. Okay, just delete that layer. We'll create a new layer on top of there. And now I'll paint some more white little dots around here. This is so cool. It's so easy to do. And now we're going to hit Control or Command F. All right, and we're going to get more light rays. All right, we'll just paint some around here. You could use larger brush strokes if you want larger, or you can go ahead and create some like little small guys here. There we go, and that's going to give you more defined shapes. Like you can see, we'll hit Command F a couple more times, and that's going to give us, there we go. Let's just kind of connect those guys. You don't have to be super careful with what you're doing, because everything gets a blur. It all kind of just like, if it looks like that, just hit Command F a couple more times, and it's going to start to just like blur into exactly what you want. All right, there we go. So you can see this is definitely like a process, and you can get kind of like whatever you want out of it. So we have like a few of these like, you know, nice small lines there, and then we have some of the larger lines down there. All right, let's do one more. I'm going to turn that layer off. This is going to be basically what I want to be my final here. All right, so we definitely want some light kind of coming over here. I want a lot of light there. All right, get some on the top going on. We'll hit Control or Command F. It's just going to make our light rays as we go. It's really quick and easy to do. All right, and some over there too, kind of like pushing past those clouds. All right, and if you have a blank area there, let's go ahead and connect that. Cool. All right, a little bit more at the top, and then we're going to be done. All right, there we go. That looks great. So we have our light rays, and they're from the exact same center of our light source. Now, if you do want to go ahead and apply a layer mask onto this, let's just click on our layer mask button right here. And I'm just going to paint with black on my layer mask. And if you do have anything that's like, you know what, I'd like it to be a little bit less visible over the ground here, or you know, maybe in this area, just choose a large black brush with a soft edge, and you can just kind of like paint it away a little bit. That's going to help you get a little bit more of a realistic result and allow you to fine tune where your actual light rays show up. Okay, cool. So that's it, guys. Let's just show you the before and the after with this photo. Here's our before and the after. All right, guys, that's all there is to creating sunlight through clouds in Photoshop. Just follow these key steps. First, you're going to want to make sure you can actually see the light source in your image. So if you got a picture of clouds and there's absolutely no sun visible in this image, don't use this effect because it's not going to look good. So make sure you can see that light source and you're good to go. Then you want to duplicate your background layer and right-click and go to Convert to Smart Object. Now, if it's a smart object, you can use a smart filter, which can be changed at any time. So we're going to go to Filter, down to Blur, and over to Radial Blur. From here, you can choose Spin or Zoom. We're going to click on Zoom and then bring your amount all the way up to about 90%. For the blur center, you want to choose this as the center of your light source. So you're pretty much going to have to guess here. Go ahead and hit OK, and then fine tune your adjustments by double clicking on that smart filter. You can change the blur center at any time. Hit OK when you got it good, and you're good to go. So now that you got your filter all set up to go, this is super easy. Just create a new layer and paint with white over top of where you want your light rays to be. This is just going to be a bunch of little dots of light. Then hit Control or Command F to apply the same filter over and over again. This is going to stretch out those little dots into actual light rays. All right, guys, this technique is really simple and can make a big difference in your images. If you love Photoshop and photography like I do, go ahead and click on your screen, right about now. We'll send you free Photoshop and photography episodes every single week. And if you have an idea for an episode or a question or a comment, leave it right down below. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much, guys. I'll Phlearn you later. Bye, everyone. And for those of you who are curious, yes, I am wearing my Phlearn members only jacket. Basically, we just ordered a members only jacket and took it to an embroiderer and had them put Phlearn on here. But I think it's pretty cool. And we're testing out a new microphone setup. Last week we were using a big old like condenser microphone here, and it was actually in the shot. And now we've got a little tiny lav mic here as well. And we actually ordered another one. So we're keep doing these audio tests. Our goal is to get something that's like, you know, the best possible audio quality, but also like non-obstructive to the shot. So thanks for hanging out with us and exploring the process of audio with us. And when we do figure out what the best audio options are, we'll make an episode on that and then show you guys. Then we're gonna go through and use a radial filter to give it, then we're gonna go, all right, we're gonna start today's episode by crepuscular rays. Crepuscular. I don't know how to say that.